Q4 is where Amazon sellers make 40% of their yearly profits, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to make $100,000 in the next 90 days with Amazon Wholesale. If you don't know who I am already, my name is Thomas. I've done over $8 million in sales on Amazon, and last Q4 alone I did over $1 million in top line revenue using the exact strategy I'm about to show you. This isn't going to be some theoretical bullcrap about finding trendy products. I'm going to show you my actual Q4 product research process, the specific categories that explode every single year, and how to get inventory in place before everyone else catches on. This is a complete step-by-step guide, so if you're serious about capitalizing on the biggest selling season of the year, watch this entire video and take notes. Let's get right into it. All right, you guys, so first thing you need to understand about Q4 is that it's not just about Christmas products. Q4 starts in October, goes through December, but the real money is made in these three specific waves. Wave 1 is October, where we are right now. Think stuff like Halloween products, but more importantly, people start their holiday shopping early. Wave 2 is November, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Thanksgiving prep. Wave 3 is December, so think last minute Christmas shopping and New Year's prep. Most people only think about December, but I'm making money in all three waves, and that's exactly how I did over $1 million in top line revenue last Q4. Here are the categories that explode every single Q4, and I've been selling in these categories for the past 5 years now. Toys and games is obvious, but here's what most people don't know. The money isn't in the trending toys that everyone's fighting over, it's in the classic toys that parents buy every year. Think Lego, board games, educational toys. Next is electronics and accessories. People buy electronics as gifts, but more importantly, they buy accessories, phone cases, chargers, headphones, gaming accessories, etc. Next is home and kitchen. So this is a huge because people are hosting more during the holidays than any other time of the year. Kitchen gadgets, home decor, organization products, everything like that. Health and personal care, January 1st is right around the corner, which means New Year's resolutions, fitness equipment, supplements, personal care items. Finally, we have outdoors and sports. Same thing with New Year's resolutions, plus winter sports equipment. The key is not to chase the trendy stuff. I focus on products that have consistent demand year after year, because that's where you can actually get wholesale accounts and reliable inventory. This is where most people mess up. They try to guess what's going to be popular instead of using data to see what's actually proven to work. Here's my exact process. I use Keepa to look at sales history from last year's Q4. I'm looking for products that had massive sales spikes from October through December and drop back down in January. Now we're looking at a seasonal product as an example to show the Keepa chart, where we can see right here, October starts to hit and boom, sales drop, sales rank drops right here, this middle chart. We can see it start to tank, which means that it's starting to sell more because it's now in season. We are looking at a seasonal product for Q4 for Halloween. And so when October comes around, year over year, we could see it year over year right here. October, sales rank drops, which means it's selling more. And then again, over here, sales rank drops again around this October, means it's selling incredibly well. And then we see it go back up after October and things like that. And then same thing over here in October 2024, this sales rank starts to drop again, meaning it is selling incredibly well, obviously. And also price is increasing along with that, right? And so we can also see right here, sales and demand starts to increase heavily, price starts to increase as well because supply and demand, and you know, the supply was pretty steady around here anyways. Now here's where it gets tricky. You can't just find a Q4 product and expect to buy it in October. You need to be planning to buy this stuff in July and August. But if you're now watching this and it's already October, don't worry, you still have product opportunities, but you just have to move fast. So my process for finding wholesale suppliers for these types of products is, you know, go find the brand name, for example, Play-Doh. We're gonna type in Play-Doh and then a wholesale distributor right after it. And from here, we're gonna see a bunch of results. I already know EE distribution right here is a good one for this specific category of, you know, toys, games, figures, all this type of stuff and gifts. So this is definitely a good distributor for, you know, Q4 especially. And you can see all the different types of brands that they carry that are all great, you know, name brand products that people already know, like, and trust. Second is my reverse sourcing method. So I'll go to listings exactly just like this one, see all the other third-party sellers on it, and basically just storefront stock their listings and, you know, see what type of brands that they're selling as well, and kind of source those brands myself at wholesale to obviously, you know, if they're selling it, it's because they are making money selling it, because that's the whole point of the business, is to make profit. So if they're selling it, they're obviously buying it profitably from somewhere. So, you know, that's my job to now figure out where they're sourcing it from. That way I can start to make some money as well. And so for example, storefront stock, you just click on one of the sellers and then you click on products and you see all the other brands and products that they are selling. And then you could go down their list here and just kind of source for the wholesale friendly brands and look for distributors using this method as well. And third, I reach out to brands directly. A lot of brands are desperate during this Q4 time, so if you're willing to put a good, decent, quantity purchase order in front of their face, most likely they'll work with you during this time as well. The key to this is positioning yourself correctly. You never want to tell them that you're an Amazon seller. You always want to come off as a retail and distribution business who's looking to carry their products for the holiday season. Now here's the math you need to understand to hit $100,000 in Q4. If you want to do about $100,000 in revenue, you are going to roughly need to spend about $50,000 to $60,000 on inventory cost. But here's the thing, you don't actually need 50 to 60 grand in cash. You need to think about inventory churn. If you can churn your inventory twice during Q4, meaning you sell through your stock and reorder, now you only need about 25,000 in cash to generate 100K in revenue. Now I know a lot of you guys are watching this thinking, Thomas, I don't have 25K in cash to invest. That's completely fine. You can still make significant money with way less. If you're starting with only $5,000, which is what I recommend for most beginners, you can realistically target about 15 to 20K in Q4 revenue with proper inventory churns. That's still about 3 to 5,000 in net profit in just 3 months, which is a hell of a lot better than what your savings account is paying you. The key is the same, inventory churns. Take your $5,000, buy inventory that sells through in 30 to 45 days, then reinvest those profits plus your original 5K principal into a bigger order for the December rush. So if you start with 5K in October, sell through and make about $1,500 in profit, now you have about $6,500 to reinvest in November. Sell through that and you're looking at $20,000 plus in total Q4 revenue from your original $5,000 investment. This is why timing is so important. You want your first batch of inventory to arrive in early mid-October, sell through by mid-November, then have your second batch ready for the Black Friday through New Year's rush. In regard to timing your Q4 orders, this is actually crucial. And since you're watching this in October probably, we need to adjust the strategy for where we are right now. Look, ideally you would have started this process way back in July and August. That's when the big players like me place their Q4 orders. But if you're getting started just now, don't worry, there's still money to be made. You just need to move fast and be smart about it. So right now when we're in October, you need to be focusing on products that suppliers have in stock and ship within 7 to 14 days. You're not gonna have the best selection, but you can still find profitable product opportunities. Early November, this is gonna be your last chance to get an inventory to FBA for your Black Friday rush. Anything you order now needs to be at Amazon by November 15th at the latest. Mid-November through December, you're basically writing whatever inventory you manage to get in, focus on repricing and maximizing profits from what you have. So the current key right now is speed and relationships. If you have existing supplier relationships, reach out immediately and ask what Q4 inventory they have available for immediate shipment. If you're starting from scratch, focus on smaller distributors who are more likely to have stock sitting around. Don't try and hit a home run with your first Q4. Get some inventory in, learn the process, use this experience to plan properly for next year's Q4 when you could start in July. Now, when I'm actually researching Q4 products, I have different criteria than normal products. Sales ranks, I want products ranked under 50,000 in their main category during normal months. During Q4, these will easily hit under 10,000. Price point, I like $25 to $75 is a sweet spot for Q4. High enough for good profit margins, low enough that people still buy multiples as gifts. Seasonality, I use Keepa to confirm the product has consistent Q4 spikes year after year. Competition, I want at least 5 sellers on the listing, but no more than 15. Too few means it might be restricted, but too many means the margins get completed away. Brand recognition. People buy brands they trust during the holidays. I focus on established brands, not random Chinese products. Once you find products that work in Q4, here's how you scale. Expand within the same brand. If one product from a brand works, others probably will too. Build supplier relationships. Suppliers remember who moved inventory during Q4. They'll give you better terms for next year. Reinvest profits immediately. Take your Q4 profits and reinvest them into more inventory for the next wave of Q4. Plan for next year. Start planning next year's Q4 in January when you can see all the data from the year. The biggest mistake I see people make is treating Q4 like a one-time thing. This should be your biggest profit center every single year. Okay, now I'm gonna go over like 2 to 3 case studies of products that I've previously sold during Q4 that are obviously good Q4 winners, right? And so we have this one that I kind of already went over, Play-Doh, for like Halloween. This is an early Q4 product, but when you're selling it for $13 per unit on Amazon, I'm buying it for $3.50 wholesale cost. Obviously, this is a really good margin right here, 56% ROI it shows, but obviously the price doesn't always stay at this rate of $13. Sometimes it's at $9, and in that case, if it's at $9.95, you're still breaking even pretty much. Like you're making 14 cents, that's break even, it doesn't matter, but it's still a good product because worst case scenario, you're not going to lose money, obviously. And so we could also see, like we did before, that if we go to go all time, we can see of when October comes around or Halloween comes around, and we can see all the different spikes and everything like that. So for example, we'll just go zoom in a little more. We can see October right here. big drop right here in the BSR, this middle chart, meaning that it's starting to sell a lot more, right? And so we can see it started to sell about 1,000 times a month as opposed to 50 times a month, because who's buying Halloween themed Play-Doh during summer? No one. So obviously it only starts to sell a lot during Halloween time, so October, and then we can see again next year it starts to sell the same exact time, the same exact spike, right? And so we're looking for repeatable patterns and pattern recognition. It's very simple to understand this, and obviously price spikes as well during this time of high demand. So this is one good example. Next is Lego Santa's Sleigh. Currently it's selling for about $37.49. I can get this about $20 wholesale cost, which leaves me about a 29% ROI, which is a very good ROI, okay? Now if we go and scroll down here, let's click all time. This still sells, pretty good around this time of July and August, June. Like, it's not a bad sales rank at all, but obviously it's not the greatest sales rank. But when we could start to get over here, more so Q4, obviously it's really hard to stay in stock for this type of product. And so it just goes out of stock because everyone sells out of the inventory. Lego is typically very hard to get a lot of access to, quantity wise. So, you can see right here, that goes from about a 50,000 sales rank, 118,000 sales rank, all the way down to around November, December area, 12,000 and, 10,000, 7,000 sales rank, which is very low. Okay, so obviously that's another little seasonal trend right here. That's a dead giveaway, okay? And so, you can make great money with this one as well. Next is this Home Accents life-size skeleton. There's another type of Halloween product, right? But you're not making an absolute killing on this with net margin wise, but it's still a good ROI, 24% ROI. Estimated monthly sales currently is only about 75, but it still does 44,000 in revenue because it's such a high ticket item, right? And so we're gonna scroll down here. This is the 3-month chart, but if we click all time, we could see again where all the spikes start to come in, right? So we could see October area, we see a lot more sellers come onto this listing because it's a seasonal product. So we can see an uptick in sellers drastically, and then also a downtick in the BSR, meaning a faster sales through rate, right? And so it goes all the way up from 322,000 in patio and lawn garden, which is insanely high, like nothing's selling, all the way down to in October timing again, Q4, start of Q4 for Halloween, it goes all the way down to 10,000 or 9,000 in patio, home, and lawn garden. So it means it's selling through a lot, right? And we could also see it was selling for about all the way up from like $1,300, actually higher, $1,600 all the way to like $600, $700, starting getting steady around $700, $800, right? And so it's obviously a lot more than what it's currently at. And so as October starts to come around and we get deeper into October, then the price is going to start to go up as well, okay? And then again, next year, October 2023, we can see the same thing. Another downtick and spike right here, meaning its sales start to go up, and we can see right here, it was selling about 500 times a month at its peak for the most part. And we can see it kind of breaks off here a little bit. These Keep It charts are a little funky right now, but obviously we just see that spike, okay? And then again, October right here. Okay, so another pretty low sales rank, 50,000, 36,000 right here, and then it gets back up right after the October time frame goes all the way back up to 250,000, 300,000 sales rank, right? And so that's another great example of a listing where I've made a lot of money, tens of thousands of dollars selling this type of product year after year during these seasonal trends. So the key to all of this is that these products are not one-hit wonders. These are the same products that perform good every single Q4. That means I just have to reorder them every Q4. Now let's go over some common Q4 mistakes to avoid. Mistake number 1 is waiting too long to order inventory. That's a dead giveaway. Mistake number 2 is chasing trendy products instead of proven winners. Trends are unpredictable. Historical data is reliable. Mistake number 3 is not having enough inventory. It's better to have too much than to run out during peak selling season. Mistake number 4 is focusing only on December. I've seen this countless times where people only think Q4 is, massive during December. That's just completely false. October and November are huge months as well. Mistake number 5 is not building proper supplier relationships. Q4 is when you prove yourself to your suppliers for better terms next year. So that's exactly how you make over $100,000 in Q4 with Amazon Wholesale. This isn't theory, this is the exact process I've used to generate over $1 million last Q4, and it's the same system my students have used to have their biggest months of the year. The key is starting early, using data instead of guessing, and building real relationships with suppliers who can provide consistent inventory year after year. Now, if you want to implement this but don't want to figure it out all on your own, I can help you. My mentorship program, I don't just teach you this stuff. I give you access to my vetted suppliers. I help you analyze products before you spend money, and I make sure you don't make the costly mistakes that destroy most people's profits. I've got students who are already preparing for Q4 right now, getting their inventory ordered, building supplier relationships, and positioning themselves to hit massive Q4s. If you want to join them, click the first link in the description to learn more about working with me directly. But whether you work with me or not, use this information. Q4 is the biggest opportunity of the year for Amazon sellers, and you have now the exact blueprint and playbook to capitalize on it. As always, make sure you like this video, subscribe for more Amazon wholesale content, and I'll see you in the next one.